All right, all right. Good afternoon, everybody. What's up? What's up? What's up? Whew. Tell you what. Oh man, done some more investigation on some things I'm gonna bring up probably later on. But first, let's talk about one thing real quick before we get into about Antarctica, and that's the discovery of Gilgamesh. Oh man, ain't that some craziness? They actually discovered Gilgamesh. Now, do you know who really Gilgamesh is? I mean, a lot of people don't know this. I do. Uh, and there's a reason I know this very, very well. Because we did not go over to Afghanistan for no reason. It was definitely for Gilgamesh. And there's a few other things as well as Stargates and artifacts that were being kept hidden in that. The government found out, and that was the real reason the whole situation happened. So, Gilgamesh is none other than Nimrod. Evil, evil. Uh, Basically, it's believed that he's half human, half god. Uh, it's He's an evil man. Let's just put it that way. Very, very evil. And the fact that the man is not decomposed or nothing. It just looks like he's asleep. Uh, so it is kind of strange, very, very odd and strange indeed for this discovery. And not only is it a discovery of that, it's a discovery of that he's not decomposing. He's not wrapped up like a mummy. He's
Bluetooth
not
disconnected.
So it baffles scientists in that, but it doesn't for the government because they've done their work, they've done their studies and that. Um, Real reason of going over there. This guy's supposed to be pretty powerful in that. So we will see if he gets reawakened. And that is what they're basically up to, is to reawaken this human slash god, which he ain't. He's not God. It is believed he is Satan himself. Um, Very, very evil guy. I've done a lot of history research on this guy when this was brought up, and this guy was bad. Like this guy was really, really crazy bad. Um, the story cuts out of history of how this man, because he didn't die. See, that's the thing. He did not die. He didn't pass away. He didn't nothing. It's just like he just was able to go to sleep and boom, he's out completely and still looks the same. Unbelievable. He didn't get any older. He didn't nothing. Didn't age. I mean, especially for how many years that he's been put away. It's baffling. Um, but not as baffling as some other discoveries that I'm gonna whistle blow on that I know of, such as what we call stargates, which really are just portals from one world to the other. We have portals on Earth that can be traveled from one side of the Earth to the other. Um, there's portals as well that travel to other parts of the galaxy, other planets. There's portals that go to other dimensions, and that it is believed from a source that there's also 3 portals that will take you back in time. There is one that's been discussed about that this portal took one of their mates back to the ancient Egyptian time when it was being built, and who was all there and everything. It blows my mind. It's one of my sources. One of my sources, so they will come on here when it comes to that time, and he will talk about that portal. So I do have him as a source. So I definitely look forward to eventually being able to get him on here and discuss and show his proof in that, because he does have a lot of proof. Uh, at that time, that's when cameras were, coming in. He had given up a lot of, those pictures, except the other. You always get two, right? When you take pictures, you usually get two of everything. Well, guess what? This man kept those away. Uh, he did tell the government those were thrown out, destroyed, um, which isn't true. So he does have those, and he's going to expose a lot of that on here. Photos, documents that he typed up and did doubles of, just for that reason. Because even back then, he knew the government wasn't gonna, come out with everything. Uh, Now, remember, a lot of my sources are going to be breaking NDAs and that. So please, please understand what they're saying to you is putting them at risk, as well as myself. So let's get on about Antarctica, part 3 of this. Now, Antarctica is a lost civilization that is believed to be Atlanteans, and a mixture of others as well. Well, it is very true. Atlanteans are what we call extraterrestrials. We call them Nords, though. We call them the Nordics. And that's because of how they appear. They appear very Viking-like, very, centurial time, and they are like 9 foot tall, 8 to 9 foot tall. These people are like 900 years old. There's a few of them that is known to be over that, in the 1,000 range, and it's insane. Their leader, what we call their leader, he calls himself the teacher. He is the oldest of them all, still existing. Doesn't seem to pair to age either, which is insane. Even Admiral Byrd got into. I am trying to reach out to Admiral Byrd's son, grandson, whichever, and try to get that journal, not the official journal, of course, but the copies of the pages in that journal, to bring them on here and read them, and show whatever, because there's supposed to be some drawings in there as well. So it is insane that he did that, and I appreciate Admiral Byrd, because like he was smart enough to do 2 journals and keep the one hidden for so long until his death. Which he wasn't even that old when he passed away. Like, it blows my mind that this man passed away not long after he came back, from telling the government, hey, like, these people are living there and are warning us that, if we continue to use nuclear weapons and that they're going to intervene. And it blows my mind on everything. Now, here's the thing, though. I did get a piece that I read from that's been circulating of that. It did not say nuclear, though. It said weapons. So I was looking into some things on that, and to find out a nuclear weapon being used on somewhere could be 20 to 50 years, maybe even 100 years before it would clear out radiation. Well, there is some people that went there, and there is no sign of radiation. They took radio monitors and meters and everything that reads for radiation. Nothing. And they tried on everything. So it's really questionable about what the government has been telling us all along. So it's hard for me to believe that, now, do they have, the government have, yes, I know for a fact they have it, but I don't believe they would really use something even back then because radiation gets in the air. So not only would that area would be affected, it would be widespread. So I don't believe that was used in Hiroshima. I believe it was just a normal, huge weapon that was used that was probably had some stuff in it that caused a lot of the melting and fire and that. Uh, it's just baffling on a lot of it, but I don't believe everything the government says. And I should know. I mean, there's a lot of us that do know that the government has lied. Military, non-military, science, even people within the government know the government lies. And so the biggest thing of the lie is Antarctica. Antarctica is not a place where nothing exists. There's things that still exist and live there. It is habitable. There is land in Antarctica that is lush green to this day. And not ice and snow. So it's kind of baffling if you really look at it. There is trees and so on and so forth. The deeper that you go into Antarctica, Antarctica is massive. They make it seem like it's not, but it is. And there's certain sections, even though, get this, there's certain sections that even government military cannot go. When military have to go out to do a perimeter check, they are ordered to take radios and be back in certain times. So dawn is listen once it's you got to get back here before dawn, or you need to radio in. If you can't make it back, you need to radio in so we can get you quick and back before dawn. So I heard some stories on why that is. There's things that come out at night near dawn that make people go missing. I heard about a story that it's crazy and it's true. I did a back story onto it to look back. There was some scientists that went out there, got dropped off, and they were supposed to do their little thing. They had not checked in like they normally did, and when the pilots went out there to check up on them, it was empty of people, but their stuff was still there. So all their equipment, tents, so on and so forth were still there, but the people were missing. Now, I think it was like 2 weeks later, they got a radio signal in that area. So they sent an airplane out there, and lo and behold, there's the scientists. I think there was 10 of them, if I remember correctly. So they radioed in and got the orders to land to get them, to see what was going on and get them. When they did, the scientists would not talk, looked at the ground, showed signs of trauma, some kind of trauma in that mentally, and they really had to push them to get on the plane. And even then, they wouldn't talk. So it is believed that something happened because they disappeared and somehow survived that long period of time without what they know of heat and stuff like that. So I believe something was done with these scientists that it's baffling. There's more. So there's stories about some kind of almost like a spider. They call them strikers. Vicious things, and when they cut, it would be like a cut from a scalpel, which is odd. there are stories of military having to go through with attacking them and being attacked. A lot of people being taken out, uh, which baffles me there, but it doesn't. There's things that we do not know about that is kept hidden from us as usual. And so for something like this, I believe it. I mean, if there's spiders that are being told that are massive, I've seen some things that are just insane, and people say, "Oh, that's CGI or AI." Some of it, yeah, a lot of it is, but I've seen some that are just not. Now in Africa, the tribes have in Africa. I used to travel back with my dad. My dad did a lot of traveling in that. My mom's first husband, and he loved to go and travel. And one of the places was Africa, and he, you know, talked with the tribes people there and everything. And the tribes even said that, listen, at this certain time, we don't go out. Children are kept in, and it's insane. And then that's when they showed him why they took us to this area, and there was this big hole, and it had webbing, like real thick, crazy webbing that I've never seen some webbing like that. And they poked in, and this spider came out that was massive. And they say they get bigger than that. And I'm just looking like, what? Even my dad was just blown away. He's like, what do you mean? How massive? And they're like, well, the size of, donkeys and our horses. And we're just looking like, what? Wow. Like, no, you got to be kidding me. It's got to be something else maybe or whatever. But no, I really paid attention to a lot of stories back in history then about that. And there is and was in the rainforest apparently giant spiders the size of cars. Now, that isn't the only time. There is stories that I heard that are true stories from people that there was witnessed giant spiders. Now, I thought about it, and I'm looking back. Like I said, I love to look back in the history, and I'm a big history buff. And I started looking, and I've seen a lot of things that just prove that it's facts. So for something to be in Antarctica, that would be massive, and something that I believe it. Not everything that you were told about so-called prehistoric animals and insects have been destroyed. A lot of things can adapt. A lot of things can hide from such disasters, whatever disaster might have occurred. But I do not believe a meteorite struck Earth and wiped out everything. I don't believe it. Here's the reason why. If a massive asteroid would have hit Earth, it would be way more devastating. So, if you think about it, if that would be more devastating, then there would be a part of some error that would be crazily show it. Okay? So there is no evidence of that. Now you say, oh, well, there's 200 asteroid, craters in that. No, those aren't asteroid craters because these archaeologists and scientists have gone there and never found a single asteroid piece. None. Now, if you go back in the old Bibles from the 1700s, it describes about 200 fallen angels returned from the heavens to Earth. Well, 200 craters plus 200 fallen angels being turned from heaven, that adds up better. Now, if you go back farther and find actual ancient texts that describe that it's a witness that these beings seen coming down and smacking in the earth, it all fits to the T. So you really got to think, is everything we're being told the truth? Obviously not. I mean, those craters are freaking massive craters, but yet nothing that would any normal asteroid would create. Earth would be decimated, especially 200. Come on, come on. I mean, look at the moon. It's just completely no life, no nothing. Look at Mars, completely no what they say is no life there. Um, but it's destroyed. There is no trees. There's no water per se, and there's no nothing that would seem like living. And there's a giant crater stretched out like the Grand Canyon. Uh, so I believe answers are in Antarctica. I believe a lot of answers. Why that is why it's kept from the public. That is why no one's allowed there. Uh, I believe to this day that an ancient tribe probably even still lives in Antarctica, possibly being controlled by the Nordics. I 100% believe it. Hang on a minute. Because it makes more sense. It's a lot of that stuff makes more sense, and that's why I tell you guys, pay attention. Really pay attention. Really focus on things, and keep your mind open, and be prepared for certain things. Now, I know the truth, a lot about the truth that's going on there. That these people do exist there, because it's not just Admiral Byrd. Back then, there was an expedition there. Let's see here. Okay, 100 years ago, before Admiral Byrd, there was expedition two expeditions separate apart, and then all of a sudden those stopped. And it was 100 years later, Admiral Byrd goes there. And what's odd is when Admiral Byrd is getting sent there, he's taking a whole fleet of ships and military men there. So I'm thinking, okay, 100 years later, and all of a sudden you're taking. So if you're just going on a expedition, why are you taking so many people, weapons, and a whole fleet of ships, two submarines, and that? Well, why? Well, and they were supposed to, I believe, do 6 months or a year, I believe it was, in Antarctica. Yeah, can't even talk. Antarctica. And for some reason, they came back way before, way before that timeline was supposed to be done. And when they came back, there was some missing ships, a missing submarine, and military people were passed away. So, and some of the ships were messed up. So, you really gotta think, what was there? What? So, really pay attention. That's what I'm telling you. Pay attention, because there's a lot of truths that are being held from us, and a lot of things for whatever reason. So, you really focus and pay attention. What is going on and why? So, that's why I'm here. I'm here to blow the whistle on a lot of things. Here to show, explain this is what you need to think about. This is where you got to use your brain and open your mind and realize, okay, this don't make sense what they're saying, but this, and this makes more sense. And something isn't adding up. What is it? So that's the problem. Antarctica is the most kept place from everybody publicly. Now the thing about doing some trips with this is, they're only going to go so far. And then you got to wonder, why would they be doing that unless there's another reason? There's got to be a reason, money-wise, something. It's going to cost an arm and a leg to go to Antarctica. something I would not be willing to do. There's a lot of things we don't know about the water, or we don't know per se, and they do. So you really got to focus and pay attention on that, and understand that there's things that are just not being told to us, especially about Antarctica. That's the most number one kept secret. And major NDAs are signed right away. You don't have to witness nothing. Before you even get on a boat or a plane or anything to go to head to Antarctica, scientists and that told me right away an NDA is signed. And it's pages of an NDA. So you got to really understand Antarctica is something that we need to really question about. We need to really answer to what is there and what's going on. Now, there is word that they found caverns that lead to, and it's habitable. It's warm, like 70 degrees, 75, which is baffling for something that's a sheet of ice. So think about it. Really think about it. But we're going to get more in depth eventually on that. So part 3, there's going to be this is part 3. So part 4 is going to come later. Once I get into more things about that, questioning some more sources and that I am going to eventually get a hold of on that, because some people aren't willing to fully come on here because they're still dealing with going there. So maybe little stuff that they can throw at me that I can make a part go longer. We're definitely doing. There's more that I'm going to talk about, and the next one I will do probably later on tonight. I won't be able to do my normal 2 to 3 or 3 to 4. So probably tonight I'll get on here and get into that. That's what's on the ball. There is old maps that I have seen. I'm trying to get a hold of 2 maps that show beyond the ice wall of Antarctica and show continents. Now these maps are old, extremely old. The 2 I'm trying to get a hold of for engagement to keep together. I'm trying to get a hold of it here. So, these are real maps that colors green, like that. That's what it shows the continent beyond, and it shows Earth thick. What it is. So, by the right, these people back in the day travel. So you gotta understand, they know, and show their. I call them that. It's gonna show that it doesn't match up with today's people, and I trust old because these people weren't about corruption really back then. Just yet. So I trust those more and believe those more than I've seen in certain old, I'm saying super old books about, continents being on the other side. You have that ice wall, and these are pictures from back in the day. Very old books that I used to read, study, and probably. And I wish I could. I'm trying to find out if anybody has them, get a hold of them. So if I do, that'll definitely be something I'm hear about. So, I'm gonna try and see about some other things as well to bring on here. We're gonna get in about 9/11. As well as just not long ago about that thing that wrecked in Beijing. We'll get into that more with 9/11. So I want to appreciate you all. It's been great and real. It's It's actually good to be back and be doing this again. So I appreciate every single one of you. Like I said, if you come on here and you want to jump in the chat, ask questions, uh, that's great. Love it. If you can't make a stream and you have questions, comment the stream that you're interested in, and maybe either I could talk to you about doing another stream and make it a time where you can be available to be on and be in the chat and asking everything, because I like to see everybody else being able to see it and me answering it. So that would be perfect. I like to work with other people if their schedule doesn't meet the ones I have on. I'm glad to change that up just for you and get on here and be able to discuss things with you. It's what I love to do, is answer questions to the best that I can and help you understand everything that you want to know. All right. So have a great day. Love y'all.